Hey everybody, so it's been a while since I recorded and I thought, I should really get on that. So here we are. I've got a jam-packed episode ready for you. I'm going to try to catch you up with all of the different things that I've been doing since the last time I recorded. Since this whole stay-at-home order, it's been really rough. I'm sure all of us are feeling that. Motivation is really a struggle. I've been seeing a lot of different memes online of, don't push yourself if you don't feel like you've accomplished everything you set out to do or that you should be more productive than you are. Don't worry about it. This is an unprecedented time. So don't put extra stress on yourself thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't get that done or anything done this past week. You know what I mean? So I've been trying to just take it day by day and just do what I can without pushing myself too hard and getting blah. So I'm going to jump right in. I've got a lot of different things to show you. And so the easiest way I thought to do that was just to put together a huge gallery here. And I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see. So this first thing looks really gross, I'm sure. One of the first things we had, I think it was last week, was Tuscan Turkey Burgers. And you can use regular ground beef as well. And I'll post the link to the recipe on here. It's super simple to make, really. You basically take some sort of Italian or some sort of Italian sausage. This is a sweet Italian sausage. You could use a spicy Italian sausage. Actually, that's what the recipe calls for, is a spicy Italian sausage, but I don't like things that are too spicy. And I did make them once with a spicy Italian sausage because that's all I could find in the store. But this one is a sweet Italian sausage, and I think it works really well with the flavors of the Italian dressing. It kind of gives you that kind of sweet and tangy kind of taste. So basically you just get a package of, so I use 2 pounds of ground turkey. You can use 2 pounds of ground beef, and then an entire package of sweet Italian sausage. Now, they technically say to use only like 2 or 3 of the sausages, I think. I just use the whole darn pack because I'm not going to use them for anything else. And so you just cut the casings off. You can, if you're lucky, you can find, at least with the spicy Italian sausage, you can get it in a like roll, like you would with ground turkey or ground beef. So that might be easier, but most of the time this is all I can find. So I just cut the casings off and then put them in a bowl. And then with my ground turkey, and then I believe that's a half a cup of Italian dressing and a cup of breadcrumbs or panko breadcrumbs, whatever you have. And you just put those in together, put a little bit of salt and pepper, any other kind of little herbs you want, but basically that's it. And then you just mix it all. And I do it by hand so that I can really feel that everything's mixed together appropriately, and then just form them into patties. You can make them ahead of time. So for these, we actually made them ahead of time and froze them until we were ready to use them, and then just grilled them up. And that is what they look like. And they are delicious. It's nice than just having a regular old hamburger or turkey burger. It's a really good flavor. So we did those. The next one, let's see if I'm still over here. I should be able to just do this. Okay, now these are not my pictures, and I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. My good friend Erin sent me these. These are her pictures, and she sent me this message, and she's like, dude, you need this for your cooking show. So I was like, all right, let's do this. I was going to try to cook them, but I just didn't have the energy this week. But basically, if you've seen the recipes of the egg and cheese sandwich that you can do in the skillet, where you put in the scrambled eggs, or you put in your mixed up egg mixture, and then you throw the bread on it while it's still wet, and then it kind of cooks and attaches to the 2 pieces of bread, and then you flip the bread over with the butter on one side or whatever, and then you can put cheese in there and whatever vegetables or bacon, and then you flip the thing closed, and then it's all together. Same concept. One of our episodes on the Steve and Nicole show, actually, we walk through that step, so check it out. This is the same concept, but it's with a tortilla. So basically, you throw down your egg, and you put whatever toppings you want. So if you want some sausage or peppers or whatever you'd put in like a breakfast burrito, and then throw on. Oops, actually, these are out of order. What happened to the? There we go. Then smack on your tortilla, smash it in there so it gets attached to everything, and then you flip it over, throw on your cheese, let it melt a little bit, and then roll it up. And there you go. It's super easy. And she says they freeze wonderfully. So that's an option if you don't want the bread one, if you want a breakfast burrito style. Okay, then along with my turkey burgers, I decided I had an abundance of potatoes. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with all these potatoes? I'm like, I've never really made fries, so let's make some homestyle fries. Super easy to do. They just take a little bit of time, and you'll see why here. So you cut up your potatoes, wash them really well. You don't even have to peel them. Wash them really well. Cut them up into about 1 inch strips, but you kind of want them about maybe a 1/4 inch thick and 1 inch, the other way or whatever. You don't want them too fat, otherwise they don't bake properly, because these are all going to go in the oven. So you want them pretty uniform, but you just slice them up. You can do some triangle wedges if you wanted as well, as long as they're not very fat. And then you put all of that and you soak it in water, in a bowl of water, until you're ready to use them. Once you're ready to use them, then you lay them out on some paper towels and put some paper towels over it, and then just press down and you're trying to get a lot of the water out. What I ended up doing too is I would take a couple of them, lay them out. I had a couple paper towels on my hand, lay them out like 4 in a row, but with a little bit of space between them. Put another paper towel over it, kind of roll it a little and squeeze, just to make sure I was getting as much water out as possible. And that actually went pretty quickly. Once you got a rhythm going, it was fine. So it may sound tedious, but it worked out really well. You throw them all in a bowl, season them with salt, pepper, any kind of other spices you wanted. If you wanted a little bit of cayenne or red pepper flakes or something to spice them up, or you can make them Italian style with some herbs, or what have you. And then you just toss them all. Oh, and olive oil, and you toss them all together in the bowl, so that they're all coated with a little bit of the oil and all the herbs. Lay them out on a single file on a baking sheet, and then throw them in the oven. I don't have the temperature offhand at the moment. And then halfway through the cooking process, you will want to go in there and try to flip them over a little bit. I just took a big spatula and just kind of whatevered, or stirred them a little bit so they kind of moved, and then laid them back out again. And then they were done, and that was it. It was super simple and super easy to do, and they tasted pretty good. And then the other thing, I think, is this the last one? Nope. The other thing I did was I was craving my great aunt's fruit salad. I would go to her house. She lived with my grandmother, and so I would go to their house every weekend and spend time with them. And she would always, always, always have a few staples of fresh fruit in her house, which was bananas, mandarin oranges, because she knew I love those, red grapes, and typically either cans of pineapple, or she would have some fresh strawberries or cherries or something. And she would always put together for me a fruit salad, because she knew I loved fruit and it was good for me. So, and she would always sprinkle in a little bit of sugar. I didn't do it with this one, but I realized after that that's probably what she did, is sprinkled a little bit of sugar in there just to sweeten it up a little bit. But she always had, so her fruit salad base was always definitely, there was always bananas, there was always blueberries, and there was usually always mandarin oranges. Then she would add, if she had it, pineapples. There was always strawberries too, I think. And then she'd add in pineapples if she had them, or sometimes she would put in maybe some some cantaloupe if she had it. Sometimes some Bing cherries, pitted and cut in half if she had it. But usually that was the staple of the fruit salad, and it was always just wonderful. It always tasted good. It was always perfect on a nice summer day. You could top it with Cool Whip, but she never did. I think she just sprinkled it with the sugar, and then tossed it all together, and was good. She never used fruit cocktail, but I think she did maybe a couple of times, now that I think about it. And she might have used some of the juice from the fruit cocktail in there a little bit, just to kind of coat it. I'm still hunting through her recipes to see if she ever wrote this one down, but I think this was just one of those ones that she just knew and always did. The other thing we did is a lot of freezer prep. And I think that article is coming out tomorrow that talks a little bit more about some freezer prep options. So one of the things that I like to do is I don't like getting those frozen bags of chicken breasts from the store that are already frozen, just because I like to do some prep with them. And so what I've been doing, Cub and Sam's Club have these nice, if you hunt for them, they have these big family-sized packs of chicken breasts. And usually you can get, in Cub, I think you can get about 5 or 6 of them in a pack. And Sam's Club, I think sometimes are up to 8 in a pack. But they are fat chicken breasts. So you can cut them in half and actually get double what's in there. So when we get them, what's nice is they're already kind of thawed, so you don't have to worry about it. You cut them in half, and then I start making marinades. Some of them I'll just put away plain, but most of them I will put together some marinades, and I've got 4 different ones that I found online. And so I'm not going to post those recipes just because whatever marinades you like, you find, they're super simple. Just make sure one of the things I forgot to do is adjust the marinade for how many chicken's breasts you're going to be doing. So like this sweet and sour one, I think it was only made for 2 chicken breasts, but I did 4. When I went to finally then cook them, I couldn't really taste it. So make sure you adjust that. But you basically put the chicken breasts in the bag, in the freezer bags, label and date them, and then throw in your marinade stuff. And then you want to get all the air out, seal it, and then massage it a little bit. And actually, I think my mom does the prep on these. I think I had her, after she sliced them in half, I think I had her stab them with a fork just to kind of get some holes in there so that the marinades could seep in a little bit. But you massage the marinade so it's covering the whole thing. Then you lay them flat and freeze them flat, and that way then when they're fully frozen, then you can restack them in the freezer upright. Then when you're ready to cook them, you basically just take out your bag of whatever chicken you're going to have that night, throw it in a sink full of hot water and let it just sit there for a little bit, and it will thaw. And as it's thawing, it's remarinating itself. Now with the sweet and sour one, the first one I did, I threw it in the oven and baked it. That was the wrong thing to do. I mean, it worked. You just have to adjust it. The way I did it was set your oven temperature at 425. Once it gets to 425, pop the chicken in there, and then drop the temperature down to 350, I think, for like 20 minutes. And that way then it gives the outside that quick cook crust, but then slowly the temperature drops and it cooks it a little evener so it stays moist and not so dry. But these ones were a little cut too thin, so they did dry out just a smidge, and there wasn't enough marinade. But the new way that I found that these worked out really well, if you're going to do a frozen marinade like this, just open the bag once they're thawed and dump the entire thing in an Instant Pot. The whole shebang. The juices, the marinades that are in there, the chicken, everything. Because most of the time there's about a cup. Most Instant Pots you need like a cup of some sort of liquid in there for it to create steam. And so there's usually enough marinade for about a cup. If not, add a little bit of broth or something. Or some water that's not going to add too much flavor because you want that marinade. And then it'll keep marinating and cooking the chicken, and the marinade will get in there and it'll still be flavorful and nice and moist. And so that's what we did for another one. I had a lemon and herb, and that one turned out wonderfully in the Instant Pot. The marinade really cooked inside of there, and it was just really flavorful. So we've got a sweet and sour one, garlic and herb. I think we did a yogurt and something, and then the last one, what was the last one? Oh, a chicken fajita mix. Yeah, so just doing a couple different ones and having them just ready to go in the freezer for those nights. This has become a godsend because there's been many times where I've had something on the menu and I'm like, I don't want to cook right now. I'm not feeling it. My motivation has been tanked. And so I can at least just pull this out of the freezer, thaw it a little bit, dump it in the Instant Pot, set it for the chicken setting, and walk away. And it's done. It's ready. Microwave some steamed veggies. I'm good to go. So it's always good to have these in your freezer for nights where you're just like, I don't want to do a big production. I just want food because people are complaining that they're hungry. So that's that one. And then we also did meatball sliders. And these are super easy. So basically, you get a bag of frozen meatballs or two. These ones I made with the regular dinner style. You really want to get the mini meatballs, the smaller ones. They fit better on this. A jar or two of your favorite marinara sauce, mozzarella cheese, and then Hawaiian rolls. You don't have to use Hawaiian rolls if you don't want to. You can use regular dinner rolls, but I think the Hawaiian rolls add a nice sweetness to it. But basically, what you'll do is you'll cook up the meatballs. I usually do them in the microwave until they're cooked, and then you'll take the dinner rolls or the Hawaiian rolls right out of the pack, slice them all as one, slice them across, so they're cut in half, tops and bottoms. Take a 9x13 pan. These don't quite fit in the 9x13, but you can get them, you can squish them in there and it's good. And then spray the pan with cooking spray. I always forget that part and then they get a little stuck and I get mad at myself. Cooking spray or some sort of way so that they won't stick. And then put the bottoms in next to each other. Dump the meatballs on there in an even layer. Pour on the marinara so that it's an even layer. You don't want too much because you don't want it to be soggy, but you want to cover them all. Sprinkle the mozzarella cheese on top. Put the tops on. Butter the tops of them, or if you've got like a butter cooking spray or an olive oil cooking spray, just shoot that on top. You're just wanting something for the herbs and the Parmesan cheese to stick to. And then you just sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese, some Italian seasoning, throw them in the oven. I think it's like 350 for 20 minutes. And they're super easy. They're really good. You can do the exact same thing also with sloppy joes. So instead of meatballs and marinara and mozzarella, you would just do sloppy joes mix. Cook the sloppy joe mix in and then just pour it on there. Put the tops on, throw them in the oven. So you can do meatball sliders or sloppy joe sliders. I think my sister one year actually also did this something similar, and she did like ham and cheese sliders. So it's very versatile with dinner rolls and just making quick sliders, and you get quite a bit out of it. So that was that, and then that's what they look like when they're done. They're just the buns are nice and toasted, everything's cooked and melted inside, and it's just delicious. So that is everything I think I have. I'm hoping to record for you guys this week how I make meatloaf and potatoes in the Instant Pot. It's super easy, super quick, and it's a nice, wonderful dinner, a nice home-style dinner. And I wish I would have taken pictures of snacking cakes, and next time I make some, I think I'll try and record it and show you those, because those were really good too. And then I made my first time yesterday cinnamon rolls. I need to perfect that before I record it because they didn't rise as much. They still tasted really good. They just weren't big and fluffy cinnamon rolls. So I got to figure that out before I record that one. But other than that, enjoy, take time for yourselves. Don't push yourselves too hard. And don't get down on yourselves that you're not being as motivated or as getting things done as you normally would. It's okay. This is a very weird time, and you just need to take care of yourself and your family and not worry about everything else. So enjoy. We will see each other again soon, I promise.